What's up, everybody? Jensen Cummings here. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Today is Best Served Podcast 183. We're talking Boozy Jams with Maura Gramzinski of RedCamper in Denver, Colorado. Maura, thanks for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right.
I'm excited.
This channel, Best Served Good, where we focus on CPG, consumer packaged goods, and clearly we're talking Boozy Jams today. I am very interested to find out from you a lot about kind of the journey that you've taken, but start giving everyone kind of the Webster's Dictionary definition, RedCamper. What can they expect from you?
Okay, so RedCamper actually started many years ago, like 14, 15 years ago.
Wow.
And I started out originally making handbags out of 35 millimeter slides after I'd inherited a bunch of travel slides from my grandparents. So RedCamper was launched with the intention of bringing awareness and celebration to the notion of travel and exploring other cultures. And through my own personal journey with this brand, I've evolved from those handbags to laptop bags made of car upholstery, and then to greeting cards. I had a whole greeting card line for a few years that was nationwide. And then through the process of all of that, I somehow got into the food world, a little bit by accident, a little bit by design.
Well, let's get back to that. I want to go through your full journey and dig into some points, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that watch this, and I want to give them some insights, especially as we talk about the pivot. Clearly, you made some serious pivots, so I want to get into that. The company as it exists today, kind of the Boozy Jam side of it. So what can people expect from kind of that, what you have as your offerings today?
Right, absolutely. So the jams right now, we have half of our line, which is seasonal, and half that is non-seasonal. The seasonal ones are the ones that we like to put the most focus on, because we're working with local orchards out in the Paonia area and pairing that with as a unique spice combination as we could think of. And then we also, in many cases, do use spirits that we also work with local distillers on. The product itself is not quite a jam. It's a little bit saucier than a jam, which is why I call it deliciousness.
Yep. So I was interested in kind of like the brand within the brand. So good. We'll talk about that. That's good stuff. So then take us back a little bit. Let's go to the catalyst that has you getting into the food world. Kind of what happens, what precipitates that moment where you say, I'm going from bags, greeting cards to now food, a completely different world potentially.
Yeah, for sure. And one that I knew nothing about, because I had no history in the food world at all. Other than I was just making jam for friends and family out of the peaches on the tree in my backyard. And I had been for years. And one of my employees, my only employee, is like, this jam is amazing. You should enter it into the Denver County Fair. And I did, and I won first place. And so because we were in so many other stores, I was like, wow, let's see if the same stores would be interested in these and the specialty preserve. And so we launched headfirst into a world that I really didn't have any idea about at all.
Well, this is interesting because many people that come from kind of more our side understand the food, but do not understand the dynamics of the sell-through when it comes to like having accounts and managing accounts and merchandising and things like that. And I've struggled with that when I've kind of ventured into some CPG stuff myself. It's just, that's a very different world. So you knew one side of the equation, and then you knew that you liked deliciousness, and you kind of connected those two things. Talk about that, the ability to take some of the shops that you were already working with. You already had accounts. You already kind of had that stuff, which a lot of, again, people that are food entrepreneurs maybe don't understand that part. They just have the really delicious jam or this hot sauce that they're used to making. So was that important? Did that allow you the opportunity to kind of give them another offering, yet still staying within the lane of kind of those shops?
Well, I think what it allowed me to have was the understanding of how to brand and how to create like a really nice shelf presence. So we came out of the gate with a pretty strong identity to begin with. But I will be honest with you, like, I don't know that any of those existing stores took us on. Like none. They were more gift shops, and they they weren't selling food at all at that point. I have some Stonewall kitchen, but that was really kind of it. And so, so we approached local stores. We went to Tony's Market and St. Killian's Cheese Shop, and St. Killian's ended up being our first account and is still to this day our best account. And Tony's Market too, who I had a connection through my employee. So we came at it from a retail side.
Yep.
Forefront. I had no concept of food service size at all for a couple of years even.
Well, let's go right into that with St. Killian's, because I want to talk about them. The importance of the early adopter, I think, is something that you need to think about. Like, who are the 2, 5, 10, 12 people, businesses that can kind of kickstart you a little bit? And so you actually have this. I'm just going to throw it up there because I want kind of people to see. So you have a product that is actually a collaboration with St. Killian's. Yes. So let's talk about the importance of having somebody buy into you on the front end, and then let's talk about this product specifically.
It was huge. Like I got validation. I got exposure to what is expected of a CPG brand. It was the perfect placement for my kind of product. He was great at showing locals, and it pairs well with cheese. So I just kind of stumbled upon the best possible partner. And then over the years, as we've kind of gone on to work together, he proposed doing this collaboration with the Mostarda, and we ended up winning a Good Food Award for it.
Yeah, Good Food Award is a pretty good validation for strong collaboration of a product. Like, I like the way that goes. The importance of that, I think it's a very smart brand play as well, right? That in either direction, there's a little bit of siphoning attention and superpower. And so St. Killian's had more of a brand name clearly than you did at the onset. And now, you guys are kind of equalized. Maybe people know you guys in equal measure now. Yet having somebody being willing to collaborate with you, was it an automatic yes? I'm guessing the answer is yes. Was it an automatic yes? And like, let's figure it out. Let's make something happen.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think more brands need to do that. The reason I say it, basically tell me and everyone watching, why is it important for you to find somebody like John Marsh and collaborate on a product? Because they're going to buy into you more. And you know that when they have 278 SKUs, 591 SKUs, this product is something they will tell to almost everybody who walks through the door, because it matters.
And he's personally invested in it too. And he takes a lot of pride of being part of that creation of that product. So yeah, he puts it in almost all of his gift baskets, talks about it. It's merchandise right on the top of his cheese counter. It definitely was a great move for both of us.
Yeah, when people think about it, collaboration is huge. You see it in a lot of craft beer, amazing the amount of collaborations that they do, and you really bring attention to like new brands. So it's an exciting way to do that. So keep that top of mind if you're getting into packaged foods at all. Let's talk about those early days a little bit as far as figuring out the food product itself. Were you manufacturing it yourself? Were you had a co-packer? Like, talk about the practical application of getting this into jars.
For sure. So after we won that award, Denver County Fair, we decided we were going to launch into it, and we went and got properly licensed, and I went to a commissary kitchen that was kind of an incubator for a lot of brands in town, and they're still around. It was Kitchen Network.
Yep.
And so they kind of also helped us with how to do the nutritionals and all that additional stuff for the labels that we didn't have any idea, and how to scale up a recipe and all of that. So since then, we've moved kitchens quite a few times. I'm actually right now, right behind me is a couple racks of cooling Colorado Whiskey Peach. We're working out of a restaurant space at the moment.
What's the restaurant?
Foodacopia.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Over
great. How did that come about?
My last kitchen closed. It was Basil Doc's Pizza. I've seriously bounced around to so many kitchens. It's been exhausting.
Yeah, you're just kind of a gypsy, boozy jam sauce maker.
Unfortunately, yeah. Some point we'll have our own kitchen, but
You do want to have your own kitchen. So one thing is you're committing quite a bit of resources, potentially money, long-term leases to get your own kitchen. So I could see the gypsy thing being like, all right, well, you can kind of move around a little bit and be less committed to a space. On the flip side, you don't own that resource and you're at the mercy of a different business, right? You don't have that potential stability. Maybe touch on that, where and how and why you might choose one over the other.
Gosh, it's something I've been thinking a lot about over the last few years as I'm like in an unstable kind of cooking situation. It's become clear that for us to grow the way that we have potential to grow, something's got to give. And in most businesses, in my shoes, go to co-packing.
Right.
And we experimented with that one time with one flavor, with one batch, and it went miserably. And so I learned that it was not for me. I have a pretty special process that I'd like to adhere to. I'm pretty dedicated to the way we do things. And I think that makes a difference in the way that it tastes. So that then means that I have to make it. And I feel like we're kind of at the end of our journey of bouncing around, and we need to either invest in that kitchen space and share it with somebody else until we grow big enough that we don't need to share it.
Yep.
Really, that's kind of the only option that I see.
Yeah, because that's what I think where you and I met first is you were sharing space at Real Dill, Elevation Catch Up, and Aaron were still there. Yeah. And so,
Backyard Soda.
Yep. And so interesting how like you started there kind of taking some space, and then now potentially you're grown up to the point where it's like we need a space, and potentially you find somebody else who's up and coming, and who knows, that turns into a collaboration, and the next thing turns to the next thing. So I really like that. At least you're not just in your bubble. I think the fact that you've been at restaurants has probably helped you in one sense, that you've continued to be out there creating relationships versus always being stuck kind of in your own kitchen. Have you seen any of that play out?
For sure. And that's good for me because I'm a total introvert and I can get into my own little bubble really easily and not be comfortable coming out of it, to be honest with you. So yes, you're right. It's like allowed me to expand my network of people I know for sure.
I like that. Let's get into numbers a little bit. How much are you producing? Give us an idea of kind of the scope and scale.
Well, for our other flavors that aren't seasonal, we'll produce a few hundred jars a couple times a week.
Okay. And mostly in this 9-ounce size jar?
That's starting to change. We're doing a lot of the little jars too. Yeah, okay. Both of them.
And do you have, I just happen to have one kind of each. Do you have most products in both sizes or certain products in certain sizes?
Certain products in certain sizes. Okay. Everything comes in the 9-ounce. Some things come in the little 3-ounce.
Got it. And let's talk through some of the math a little bit and further. What can people expect to kind of pay for these on the retail side, kind of an average?
The little guy will retail for $5.50, $5.75. Okay. And the bigger one from 10 to 14, although I've seen it as high as 21. Yeah.
Wow. And you're thinking more of the smaller, what's the reasoning? Do you think it's like a $5 purchase can just be kind of a compulsory purchase? Like, oh, that looks good. Oh, it's only $5. I'll grab that. And it just gives them the first opportunity to taste it. This is more of a commitment.
Exactly. And merchandising wise too, you can place it with the cheeses and kind of talk about it being a small commitment to put on your cheese board or take on a picnic or something like that. And then once they taste it and realize the quality and the deliciousness of it, then they'll want the bigger jar. And that has proven to be true for sure.
That's 101, people. It's 4 times harder to get an existing customer than it is to get, or excuse me, it's 4 times as hard to acquire a new customer as it is to get an existing customer to spend more money. So get them that first taste, that first touch. The collaboration gives you that opportunity because now I'm sure that they're sampling this all the time. It's merchandised well. This also, then is the $5, $6 price point, which makes it like, yeah, I'll give it a try versus $10, $12. You're saying, do I really want this? So I like the thinking on those two fronts. You mentioned picnic. Right. And your brand is actually RedCamper Picnic Supply, right? Even your logo is kind of the little A-frame picnic table right? Side shot view. Picnic supply. Why is that important? Your expectation is for people to take this out to a picnic. Why is that a part of your brand?
It falls back under the whole master brand idea of travel and experiencing being outside, and experiencing other communities and cultures too. So road tripping is a big part of our brand too. And so the little sizes in particular are easy to take with you, easy to pack. Originally too, the RedCamper picnic supply was a way to differentiate from our greeting card line and our handbag line before those were closed up.
Which were also RedCamper. Those were the same brand.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. But now you're exclusively RedCamper Preserves, the Deliciousness brand. So then let's go to that. You have kind of deliciousness as the second part of the brand. Where and how and why did that come about?
It was just what I originally called it when I first was making jam and didn't know what I was doing and did it wrong and it didn't set. And then I liked it better. So I just called it deliciousness. I mean, from day one, long time ago, 20 years ago.
How many great mistakes have turned into great items? I think that's such a perfect thing. I can't get the set. People go, well, I think it's kind of better. It doesn't feel like you're eating a melted gummy bear. Like it really feels like you have this like nice silky texture, and texture definitely, like you can see it. I can see it. You might not be able to see on that side, but you can see it swishing around a little bit more. It is not completely set. It is not like a dense pectin bomb like sometimes they can be. So, all right, I need to taste some of these. These have been sitting at my house for a few weeks, 3 weeks or something, and I wanted to have the pop when I opened them. So super fresh for people, made for television. So I have Pueblo chili, Colorado whiskey, bourbon cocktail cherry, and cherry fig mostarda, the collaboration. Take me through. Where should I start?
Start with a whiskey peach. That was our original flavor. It's the flagship. That's the one that we make the most of. We were talking about numbers earlier. The 200 or 300 is like we've far exceeded that many years ago. We're talking thousands of jars that we produce within a 4 to 8 week period.
Yeah, I'm going to paint a picture for you. So again, a little bit more liquidy, right? A little bit of movement to it. You got that nice, deep, rich, like dark burnt orange color to it. Little chunks of peach, and then kind of little darker flecks. What am I looking at when I kind of see these darker flecks that are in here?
That is chopped fresh Madagascar vanilla bean. And we work with an amazing co-op that does a fantastic job taking care of their community in Madagascar, called La Faza.
La Faza. Excellent. The aroma right away, I get whiskey first, then a ton of peach. Not as sweet as you'd like expect it to be. I think there's a little bit more balance to it than you'd expect. The vanilla is nice. Tons of vanilla on the finish. And it clearly is fresh vanilla. Like vanilla extract is one of the things that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It smells like gasoline to me. Like my schnoz can't handle it. And so this is for sure the flagship. Give us an idea. You mentioned kind of the total volume. What percentage potentially is kind of this? As
50%.
50%. Okay. So let's touch on that. The importance of having kind of your leader of the pack and kind of like, what does that mean? Why is that one so important? Why is it the one that you're kind of leading with? Why is it the one that sells the most? Give us an idea there. Honestly,
I keep trying to produce a better flavor, and in my opinion, I have. But that whiskey peach, it's still everybody's favorite.
Is it because it's so Colorado? I mean,
maybe
we definitely have a lot of great whiskey in Colorado, and definitely have peaches literally internationally known for peaches here. So I mean, I guess that's a good problem to have. Whiskey and peaches in Colorado, like it seems very creating a sense of place.
And that's a big part of our brand too, and something I'm pushing even more towards, which if you notice, go to the Pueblo chili peach next. And that one I'm trying to call out 2 different regions.
Yes. So yeah, Pueblo down south of Colorado, and then guessing you're getting most of these from Palisade as far as the peaches go.
We get all of our peaches from Paonia.
From Paonia. Okay. So excellent. So that's an interesting thing. I think a lot of times when people think of peaches, the first place they think of is Palisade and the Western Slope. Yeah. What distinguishes Paonia for you?
It's the organic growing capital of Colorado, and their season's a little bit differently paced than Palisade, which I think creates a sweeter peach in the end. They come in a little bit later than the Palisade ones, and I personally have a huge love affair with Paonia. I think it's an amazing little hidden gem of Colorado.
They grow good grapes there too.
Oh yeah.
They're just good. They're good growers there. There's some good wines coming from Paonia and from grapes grown in Paonia. So this one's like really earthy, almost kind of like dirty and grungy, like in a good way. Like I like the smell of the peppers. It's super earthy, umami. Like you get a lot of that. These are like cheese things, weird descriptors, but like it feels a little like grungy. Like I like that about it because again, jams, peaches, like they can be so cloyingly sweet.
Yeah.
Kind of like, all right, like another sweet thing. Like I need so much butter or peanut butter or something else to like balance it out. You're trying to create a balance within just this one product. That's pretty clear. Talk about the importance of the chili pepper, kind of how you're managing that. One thing I'm interested in is Pueblo chilies can be like bell peppers or they can be like Serrano chilies. Like they vary a lot, and I'm sure I can see it's hard to manage. Touch on that from a practical aspect.
And we're still learning how to manage that, honestly. Like I'm not a hot sauce maker, so the chilies have been challenging. Last year we had 2 batches, and they were pretty mellow. And now I'm told this year the chilies are coming in hot. So like this batch definitely here, I don't get a ton of spice at all. Is there any communication as far as the expectation of heat? I wonder about that. Like people like it no matter what level it's at, and they give you the benefit of the doubt. Do they say, I love that last batch and this one just tastes like, like bell peppers? Yeah, I don't know. It's too early to tell right now.
Right.
Keep our fingers crossed.
All right, cherry fig or bourbon cocktail cherry?
Go ahead with the cherry fig. Okay. So this one's not quite a jam.
Let's see what we got here.
This is more of a charcuterie pairing.
Yep, I was about to say very much. I mean, like a Mostardo has a lot more density to it. It's kind of super chunky. Think of more along the lines of like, well, a Mostarda, if you know, but like a tapenade or something like that, that's got a little bit more chunk and density to it. How'd you come to this flavor when you're doing the collaboration with John at St. Killian's?
He had an existing recipe that he brought to the table, and I said, well, if we're going to do a collaboration, I want to be able to add, take away, change it up a little bit. And so I wanted to add some more texture to it, so I added the cacao nibs. And
literally just bit into one. I was like, that feels like a cacao nib.
Yeah. And changed the proportions of the figs to cherries. And then I wanted to work with a local cider maker instead of a wine maker, because he was using wine. And so we went out and asked STEM ciders if they were interested, and we used their Real Dry.
So you got a third collaboration in STEM, absolutely amazing brand.
Yeah.
Their restaurant, soon to be Orchard, and that whole like compound that they're building in Lafayette, amazing. I think it's very interesting. Cider is easy to overlook, and it can have a lot of one note to it, right? And so the fact that they've like really diversified that, they've done some smart collaborations also. I think of the Real Dill collaboration. Doing this, I think of bringing different things besides just apples to play has been interesting as well. Doing dry hop stuff, so very smart, very, very smart on like finding another collaborator, somebody else. A little bit of heat on this one, actually more heat on this one than on the Pueblo.
Yeah.
What's that coming from?
There's 3 kinds of mustard: the yellow mustard, brown mustard, yellow mustard powder, and then there's also a load of red chili pepper flake and black pepper.
Yeah, definitely get the black pepper, which I really like. Black pepper and fig and black pepper and cherry are like classic combinations. So I think that's smart. All right, here we go. Bourbon cocktail cherry.
So this is an experiment. We haven't quite fully launched this product yet. So it's in our test kitchen. But be careful for pits.
Oh, figuring out the pitting process, that can be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we're talking whole cherries, pitted cherries, basically in syrup is kind of what I'm looking at here. Can I get a little drip on there? Yes, there we go. The action drip, perfect. That's intense. That's like a smack in the face, but like in a good way, if that's what you're expecting as far as like cherries. What kind of cherries are these?
Those are sour cherries.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we got those from Big B's out in Paonia.
That's smart pickup on the cherries because it feels really balanced. Right away, you get an immense amount of cherry. There's a little bit of alcohol aroma on it. Right away, just like smack with cherry and sweetness. Yet the sour cherry is pretty key because it doesn't finish cloyingly sweet. Like I don't feel like I have to scrape sweetness off of my tongue like what you could expect from something like this. What still are you working on with this? There's some spices in here too. What is that? Cardamom. There we go.
Yeah, cardamom. There's a load of whiskey.
Law's Whiskey, another smart collaboration. Law's Whiskey, definitely one of the better whiskey brands, maybe anywhere for sure. Al Law has done an amazing job with that brand. Absolutely. Nice. Okay. Look, people, if you like jams and you don't always want this cloyingly sweet thing, this is a place to go. Like I think it's very clever in that way. Using the local products thoughtfully, I think really, really matters. Creating a sense of place and collaboration. These are my big takeaways from you, Maura. What else do people need to know? What haven't we touched on? Are you working on new products? We got your website listed, so people need to go and check out. Can they find all the locations, retail, where they can find your product on the website?
Yes, it's pretty up to date. We're maybe a month behind on that. Okay. There's a few new stores that have come on board, but we do have a new product coming out in October, November. It's a Sweetwater cranberry compote. It's our take on a cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving.
All right. I need to try that because you know what I never eat at Thanksgiving is cranberry sauce.
You'll like this one.
Here we go. I joked about, like how you can see some movement. It's not this like dense pectin bomb. I mean, cranberry sauce, just like the texture of it is what gets me more than anything. And being a fan of cranberries, I'm like, this doesn't represent a cranberry in any way, shape, or form. Often, some people have showed me their variations, and I've been more into it. Absolutely. So I definitely want to try that. And seasonality for that, you're really looking to capture. Thanksgiving this year is going to be interesting. I think people are going to need it more than ever, so to speak. They're going to need to be around the table with people that they care about and love. They're going to need that simple form of hospitality of just feeding another person. I think also we've been spending a lot of time cooking at home recently, and now we might be a little bit more adventurous, dynamic, exciting, open to new types of food, open to new cultures. Do you see a huge opportunity for you to kind of break through with some people that are maybe a little bit more open to new things now?
That's what we're hoping. Absolutely. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right. I really appreciate it. I'm excited about these. My wife, Betsy, has been chomping at the bit to get her hands on these. I said, no. For some reason, like I want people to hear me pop it for the first time. I don't know why that became an obsession of mine. Now they're open, and even my two young sons are big fans of PB&Js, and I think we can take them to another level here.
Absolutely.
All right, Maura, appreciate you being on so much. Thank you for your time. And real quick, and I'm gonna let you go. Kelly for connecting us. Kelly,
she's so amazing,
so awesome. We have a bunch of her hot sauces downstairs. I think really important. Again, to have somebody like Kelly connect us. When I said who's somebody I need to talk to that's also moving and shaking in the consumer packaged goods arena, it jumped out of her mouth. Said, you gotta talk to Maura. She's the person that I go to when I need a little bit of inspiration, a little, jolt of energy, a little bit of whatever, somebody to vent to. So that relationship, why is that so important?
Oh man, I don't know. I just feel so grateful that she made me be her friend. We were back to back at a show, and she was adamant that we were going to be friends, and I'm so thankful because I feel the same way about her as she said about me.
Yeah, and Murph's Condiments and their hot sauce is amazing. Had them on the show. Definitely go check out Kelly's episode of the show for sure. And I like it too. You got the fiery Southern, and you mentioned yourself being an introvert. I like the yin and yang balance there.
Exactly.
It's good to have that support system. So, all right, Maura, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You too. Cheers.
All right. Maura Gramzinski, founder of RedCamper, Picnic Supply, and Deliciousness. This is the brand. Go check it out. I'm a big fan of things like this because it's something that you know with just a little bit of a twist on it. It's really focusing on those local ingredients, on that local storytelling of creating a sense of place. We talk about that on the show all the time. And just everybody needs to be in this space. If you are in food and beverage, if you're in restaurants, you have got to be finding those deliciousness items that you make and bring those directly to the consumer, bringing multiple revenue streams and also bringing your brand into people's homes. It really, really matters. So I'm excited. I'm fired up about this channel. Best Served Good will focus on CPG, consumer packaged goods companies. And as always, be kind of giving people a roadmap who are interested in getting into this lane or who are in restaurants that absolutely need to be in this lane. That's it for today. Thank you as always. Appreciate you all for watching. Cheers.